All right. This, I believe, is Miss Camille. Hello, you are on the air with FUBAR Weekly.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Can you hear us good? Or well?
I can.
Excellent. So, thank you for calling in. I know you're busy, but you took out some time to talk to us, and we appreciate that.
Very much so.
Not a problem.
So, they already started firing off questions to me, but we'll go back to what I had. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm in the middle of Oklahoma right now.
Ooh, Jesus.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would anybody
Heading
wanna
towards
be
the West
there?
Coast.
All right. At least you got greener pastures. Actually, I don't
Yeah.
really know how much greener it can get from
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
there's a silver lining where you're going.
Yeah.
You know.
I've never heard somebody say I'm doing well and then follow it with I'm in Oklahoma. So
Yeah.
that's a first for me. I appreciate
Well, it's
that.
because I'm traveling
Yeah.
through it. I'm not actually here.
Unless you're
permanently.
Timothy McVeigh, you know.
Well, good. Everything's good on the road trip so far?
Chad left.
So far, everything is great.
Excellent. So, I started off earlier, I don't know if you were listening at all, talking about the 50 Shades movie, which I went and saw and thought was fucking terrible. What's your opinion? As someone...
It's the same as yours. I read the books first because I'm big on always trying to read the books of any movie that comes out that's predicated on a book. And the books were horrible, so I only anticipated the films being horrible.
Yeah, the films were horrible. You know, somebody had said something along the lines of if he wasn't a millionaire and lived in a trailer, it would be an episode of Criminal Minds.
Well, you know what bothered me, I think, the most is when I read the book, she has at least 2 or 3 pages of all these different doms that she consulted with and subs that she consulted with. And after you read the book, you just don't get the feeling that any of those consultations probably really took place.
No, I mean, it goes along the lines of apparently that author has stolen a lot of material and kind of basically fudged her way through it and kind of polished a turd, if you will.
Right.
And she's wiping her ass with 20s as we speak.
With 20s, dude. She's wiping her ass with hundreds. And
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's true. 3-ply
Stacks
hundreds.
of hundreds. Yeah.
3-ply. Yeah.
So it seems like the consensus amongst the audience is consistent with everybody says it sucks. All right.
It's consistent with when the first movie came out. I heard tons of negative stuff to where it just kept me from. I dreaded watching even that first, the first one basically, and I took a long time to go see it, and then I finally saw it, and I was like, I could have saved it.
Yeah, that was like a waste of money. Actually, at the end of this movie, if it wasn't the fact that I took my wife for Valentine's Day to see it, I would have asked my money back because it was that fucking bad to me. And I'm known for liking really shitty movies, but that one was just really shitty.
But you know what's amazing though is their marketing factor has impacted a lot of the sex stores that I frequent on a regular basis, just for tools, supplies, etc. They were out of all the toys that people recognize the most, like the Benoit balls and the gray scarves and all these different things. They ran out of all of the, I guess, typical toys people are comfortable embracing.
Yeah,
Out of stock. Every store I went to.
Once when the books came out, especially and even so when the movies came out, they actually came out with a line of 50 Shades sponsored toys where you can get buy the gray ties and everything from the books with the 50 Shades brand splashed across it. So you're paying probably double for shitty quality stuff just because it's got 50 Shades on it.
Oh, I never saw their sponsored actual products. This was kind of, I think when the books first came out, it's probably when I noticed it. That's amazing. So they probably triple charged for a polyester gray tie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it seemed as if, actually, now that I think about it, I think it was Adam and Eve had the branded stuff. Why did my microphone just go loud?
Mine went
Real
loud too.
Yeah.
Now, I listen to Pandora a lot, and they've got commercials going on there now about Adam and Eve, about 50 Shades and things like that now.
Yeah, that's the seller. That's what's making money now.
Yeah, but you know they're just trying to sell stuff along with the 50 Shades too. So you know that, like you said, they're polyester crap left and right.
Yeah. So back on track. So everybody, when I announced the beginning of the show, said that you were a professional dominatrix, and I'm very interested to do this interview. But the one question, when it boils down, it's basically you're getting paid to beat the shit out of people who want it.
When it boils down to it, yes, but I have to say that the inflicting for myself, because I'm a sensual dom,
okay,
inflicting corporal punishment is probably 20% of what's requested the most from me.
Okay. What is the most requested activity?
By far the most requested would be strap-on play.
Okay.
Any type of prostate play or anything that's the stimuli of that particular area.
Okay, I have to dumb that down a little bit for Alabama over here. That's butt stuff, buddy.
I got that.
All right, okay, good. Yeah, sure.
I got that.
Yes.
You know, we've seen that a lot with goats. You know, we got that.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
What is a sensual dom? What does that mean for the people?
So the difference I would say probably between myself as a I call myself a sensual domina rather than a dominatrix because I'm genuinely part of this lifestyle. I genuinely live this lifestyle, and I really only want to do things that I actually enjoy and that I know are actually giving pleasure to someone else. So burning somebody with cigarettes or cutting them with razors, things of that nature, don't hold any interest to me. So I don't really consider myself a severe dom. I'm definitely more on the sensual side of being able to give people pleasure and being able to see people leave. Well, they can leave happy or unhappy if unhappy is what they're choosing to leave.
Fair enough.
But I would rather know that, I'm fulfilling the fantasy rather than just, kicking the shit out of somebody.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So I have a question from one of our listeners. Are you in a committed relationship?
I am not.
Okay. So Debbie, she is not.
Now, and as far as what you do, has there anything that's ever come across your desk that's actually freaked you out?
I've only ever actually been freaked out one time. I've been a professional dom for about 8 years now, but I've been involved in the lifestyle since I was a teenager.
Okay.
In my professional life, I was one time by a client that I had in New York. One of my specialties is role play. I have a work wife, sub Jamie, and she assists me as well as holds her own sessions. But she and I are kind of like role play specialists. We offer quite an array of role play.
Okay.
And I had a client come in who had a role play where he wanted to kind of talk me through a variety of different fantasies he had come up with.
Okay.
And the first one was he had a fantasy with his sister as a teenager, which is, kind of typical. I do the mommy son role play, etc. And those are normal role plays within my realm of normal.
Okay.
And then he had the second part of the role play was something about playing doctor with his cousin. Again, didn't really upset me on the scale of comfortability. The last role play was where he wanted to molest his girlfriend's daughter.
Yeah.
And the way that he described it to me made me feel like it was actually a reality for him. Yes. It's the only time I probably ever got the freaky goosebumps and made a client leave.
Yeah, that would definitely do it.
That's
right.
Way over the line.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say we, as in the three of us sitting in this room, we are all out of our fucking minds crazy. But even
absolutely,
that is over the line.
That's too far.
Yeah.
You should have punched him on his way out.
I
like beat the shit out of him
we
for
talk
that.
about some really sick shit, but we all know we're just fucking kidding 90% of the time, and the other time we know we're crazy, but that is just fucked up.
But
right, well, you definitely cross a line between fantasy of, wanting to be the husband getting caught with the wife's sister, which is probably actually most men's fantasies, and if their wife's sister's hot. But when you start crossing a line into things that have to do with children, that's it for me.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say that, in his defense, if you will, is better to play out the fantasy in that type of a situation than actually carry out that act with.
No, absolutely. I'm a huge proponent of that. In fact, Jamie and I offer a rape fantasy role play where she's the one being raped and I'm kind of the pawning to his clown. Again, though, we're talking about we're in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
I'm not tied up. I'm in control of her pain levels at all times. I'm in control of all kinds of play to keep everything safe. So it's still a controlled environment, but it is a fantasy that a lot of men have and a lot of women have, believe it or not. So I don't have a problem with anybody wanting to fulfill a fantasy in a controlled environment.
Okay, and that makes sense.
That really does.
Couple other questions from the audience. Now, I didn't put your website out for the people to look at and click on, or one question is how much do you charge? Which I guess that's on a case-by-case basis.
It is on a case-by-case basis, but so I'm in this business as much for financial reasons, of course, because it is my profession, as much as I do it because I truly enjoy it. But typically, the donation that is requested is anywhere between $300 to $400 for an hour.
There you go. Another question from the Peanut Gallery. Do you have an office? I think the term would be dungeon. Well, at least that's what's in my head.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds
right.
good.
So I am a traveling provider. I have a traveling dungeon that completely gets set up in every location that I go to.
Nice.
But I do also have a dungeon in my home base in Philadelphia.
Now, I'm guessing that when you travel, you usually travel by car, because that would be really tough to explain to TSA.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a lot of equipment, so I'm always traveling by car.
Usually, when I travel, especially if I'm traveling with my wife, I'll put something in her suitcase that would be funny if TSA caught. Of course, she wouldn't think it's funny, but I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just go put a giant.
Well, when I
dildo
used to live on the West Coast, but I always worked on the East Coast, I would travel back and forth occasionally, and I cannot tell you how many dildos TSA people have stolen.
No kidding.
Like
Wow.
stolen from you?
No.
That's kind of creepy.
They would they would jack your dildos.
It happens so frequently, and not for nothing, but the toys are not cheap.
No,
They're not, and I'm sure they're not.
So what else?
Is that something that you would actually like complain to the airport about? Like, hey, they jacked my dildos.
No.
They jerked my They jacked my dildos.
No, I wouldn't expect that's something you'd call. I mean, unless it's like one of them handcrafted glass jobbers.
Yeah, some of those that are glass that people like looking in.
But that
family heirloom.
That probably gets chalked family heirloom. You fucked up.
One that was
Right,
hand blown.
I never filed any complaints.
One of those glass ones that was hand blown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like your choice of words.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you just chalk that up to the cost of doing business.
Exactly. It is the cost of doing business, correct. And clearly they were so fascinated, and they must have needed it badly, I guess. I don't know, because I would be concerned with, there'd be so many things I'd be concerned with touching someone else's sex toys, but it didn't seem to cross their mind. So.
Well, look at it this way. Maybe yours are better quality than theirs.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But still, I mean, think about this though, Drew. You put yourself into the situation of being that TSA baggage inspector, and you want that dildo, but Camille has a point. I mean, you don't know where I'm sure that she cleans hers after she uses them, but they don't know whose luggage belongs to who at that point. So they could be stealing something that was like 2 hours beforehand stuck up someone's ass. They don't know.
Right.
But
That's
I mean,
exactly what my thought process is.
I mean, unless they sniff it first. I mean, I don't know. That's fucked up.
you'd be surprised. I mean, if you're going through the Atlanta airport,
I
mean,
have.
You can see some of those baggage handlers. They're sniffing some shit. I mean, you could tell they just put some shit up their nose. More or less a 9-inch dong that just rolled through that conveyor belt,
So, what was that? Wait. I just lost my place. So, you travel. What is there anything consistent city to city? Like, in one particular city, something's more popular in others, and is there some sort of correlation there?
Yeah, it's fascinating that you would ask that. It's really interesting how, I don't know if they have like little personal blogs in the city where they get together and talk about it, but so I'll give you examples. Let's start with Boston.
Okay.
In Boston, my number one fetish request is toilet play, where they want to either have to urinate or defecate in their mouth.
Hey.
And then, I'm sorry?
No, we're all shocked reaction.
Okay. And then in New York, the number one would probably be feminization, where I spend an exorbitant amount of time doing makeup and feminizing, clients that come to see me that want to go out with us as girls' night and be dressed up fully as a woman, full professional makeup, wig, hair, shoes, etc. It's just something that they want to experience.
Okay.
In D.C., by far my number one request. Now, mind you, all of these number one requests are still secondary to strap-on play.
Okay.
In every city.
So
these are just kind of the number one specialty fetish requests.
But the general number one is pegging or strap-on play.
Is pegging, strap-on play, correct?
Still
So
dealing.
in DC, I have a large amount of clients that I'm going to be delicate in delivering this, that ask me to save condoms from prior clients that have ejaculated into those condoms.
That's hot.
During their play sessions. And they want to come after that particular client has left, and they want to be able to eat the sperm out of the condom.
Okay.
No fucking kidding.
Well, different strokes for different folks, Andrew. Everybody dunks their Oreo cookie in a different way, sir.
I understand that. Do you twist the top
Definitely
off yours
could not
before you
make
dunk
that up.
it? Because these fuckers twist both the top and bottom before they dunk it. And, I mean, Chad gets what I'm saying. I mean, dear sweet Jesus.
But, so that's...
Well, the concern, in all seriousness, because it actually doesn't bother me to perform this particular fetish, I always, preface everything in saying that, I cannot guarantee the safety of anything that you're going to ingest, and I don't have any way of guaranteeing you of any safety structures whatsoever regarding this particular fetish. But that never matters to them.
I mean,
even because I don't do drugs, I don't drink, none of those things are involved in any type of those activities. So this same thing could go for Boston when it comes to defecating or urine. My pre-existing things of saying, do you want to see any recent test results I've had, or are you comfortable with this? They could care less. When you get to the point, I think, of these extreme fetish requests, the safety aspect has long since become their second or third concern.
That's kind of disturbing when you think about it. I mean,
it's extremely disturbing.
So let me get this straight. So what you do is you just take it and tie a knot in that bad boy and just stick it in your...
I do.
Stick it in your little cubby and just carry it around with you. And then when you get to D.C., you just, look what I've got. Who's hungry?
It goes day by day. So
Day by day.
they'll book appointment with me in the evening, and whatever I've saved from that day or the day before, that will be what they're ingesting. That's correct.
wow.
So they want the freshest, huh?
That's...
The freshest and the race, the creed, the color, none of that matters as to what they're... sometimes they might have a specific request of they want a blonde, white guys, whatever it is. They become very detailed. That's up to them. It doesn't matter to me one way or another. But in general, nothing else matters.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
do you... No,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, brother.
No, go ahead.
Do you charge extra for that, or is it just all one flat rate? And I'm not saying I'm going to belly up to this shit. I'm just saying that I'm just curious because this is a new one for me.
Is the donation all inclusive, or is it a la carte?
No.
Andrew's asking for a friend.
No. I can send some to you, but
no.
But no, it's not about that shit. But no, I'm just serious. This is the first I've ever heard of this shit. And I've heard of some weird out there shit.
Well,
but
Well, I have to tell you that my mindset on this is that, this is what makes them happy, and that's what they're giving me a donation to do. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to fulfill the fantasy that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be extremely concerned in the beginning with the safety aspect of all this, but you can only be so concerned about someone's safety when they're not concerned about it themselves.
Fair enough.
That's it. You can't force them to look out for themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, what would be the biggest faux pas, if you will, for somebody who wants to hire you, or to use your services? What would be the biggest thing they would fuck up in the road to that?
Probably discussing anything with me that is not already that's already been listed on my website or on my advertisement. Like, just read, take the time to understand who you're coming to see, take the time to understand what's expected of you, and don't go back over questions that have already been answered, because, I don't have a concern with law enforcement because nothing that I do is technically illegal.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with anybody who tries to discuss delicate issues like money or anything else of that nature. I put that all out there for everybody to know in advance. So by the time you call me, you're just ready to make the appointment. I give you time to talk to me face to face when you get there to go over, everybody's boundaries and limits, etc. So just not, everybody should be doing research on who they're going to see, because we all have reputations. I work hard for it. So
yeah, exactly.
I want you to take the time to read what I put out there, so that you understand who you're choosing to come see, so that it just makes the entire process, it just makes the fantasy, easier to achieve.
Yeah, it definitely helps to have your shit together.
Absolutely.
Or for them to have their shit together, rather. Literally and figuratively. It's true.
Very true.
So
you don't want to go in there half-assed. I mean,
so I do have someone to ask. I do have a question.
Yes.
They're asking, what are your measurements?
I am 38, probably 32, 33, and 38.
There you go.
That's exciting.
Calm down there.
Yeah, Andrew's next question was going to be if he could...
I'm not going to D.C. to meet her, okay?
You just stay on that side of the table, big fella.
She traveled. She said she would come to you.
Well, yeah. But I'm just saying, let's get the D.C., the number 2 behind strap-on out of the way,
That might be your thing.
Hey. So,
I'm not going to eat,
I have a question.
Blonde hair, blue-eyed,
Sure.
Has there ever been something that somebody's asked of you to do that you almost had to laugh in their face because it was so silly? Silly.
Good question.
Oh gosh, that's probably daily. I think
just some of the good ones then.
So I know you, of course, know your eyes are bigger than your stomach philosophy. That goes for pegging and strap-on as well. So if you come to see me and you've never had any kind of anal play ever, and you're wanting the pleasure from the anal play, you're not actually wanting the pain, don't come in and ask me for a 10-inch dick. You're gonna walk out bleeding, defecating, etc. on yourself. Be realistic about what you think you can handle the first time.
So
because in general, I'm gonna baby step you through everything, and you'll graduate in the process of what you're able to handle, etc.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're coming to me because you're wanting to try this for a pleasurable reason, that is not the first thing you should ask me for.
At some point, though,
it's always the first thing.
At some point, I would think if it came down to something like that, and you're trying to explain to them that might not be the best idea for them, and they're adamant about it, you just got to let them find out for themselves.
Yeah, it's here you go.
Yeah, and it's I tried to tell you type situation.
So
right, well, I think what will happen is they'll say, no, I want it anyways. And I'll say, okay, well, we're going to start with this 1-inch in diameter dildo because I want you to loosen up. If they can't take that, which none of them can, they all change their mind about how far they want to go. They just watch some hardcore porn, and the person on the porn acted like a virgin and took it, and it was pleasurable. But if you really believe pornos, then you've got a whole other set of issues that we have to discuss at a different session.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to sit and talk.
I got a Virgin Brooklyn for sale for those people
because there's some of that shit actually like that. They really can do that.
Hey man,
because I watch that shit religiously.
You know that.
Yeah. We do too.
Were you, Andrew? Were you one of those people that got that pop up from Pornhub that says you've watched every fucking video on this site? Go get a job and find something to do.
Just about.
I live a porno. So when I get on Pornhub, I watch weird shit.
I do too. I mean,
yeah, I'm right there with you.
That in and out shit don't even faze me no more. It's like, well, look at there.
I don't know. Sometimes
she looks like she's in pain from that. Let me go over here to the real ones.
I don't know. Sometimes Pornhub isn't fucked up enough for me, but
she looks like her jaw hurts. Let me go over here to the one who's just gotten knocked in the mouth.
Pornhub was actually doing yesterday for Valentine's Day for the single guys was doing a free 1-day premium subscription.
Did you
for
take
Valentine's Day? No, I saw it on Facebook.
Did you take advantage of that?
No, I saw it on Facebook.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I was working and then
you couldn't go to a shitter or something and be like, "Yes, sir, I want that opportunity."
Hell yeah! Actually, you know what I like about Pornhub is was it last year for Christmas they put out a commercial, like an actual commercial. You could buy a Pornhub gift card. And the commercial was like, I guess a kid bought it for his grandfather. It was like fucking weird. Like made the grandfather
one, that's
fucking
fucked up,
day.
and then two, grandpa would be like, "No, what in the hell am I going to do with this?"
No, here's something to think about. All right, when you go on Pornhub, there's a little fucking checkbox: share on Facebook. I don't want to share the fucked up shit I watch with on Facebook.
Have you ever?
I would lose friends. That would be like, dude, you tell us about this is one thing. Us actually getting to see what you watch, like, no.
You'd either lose friends or you'd gain some new ones, fella.
I'd probably gain some new ones, but if people actually think I'm cool, then what am I going to think of them? Be like, no, that's too much.
My grandmother's friends.
I ain't ready for that at this time. Let me grow a little bit.
My grandmother's friends with me on Facebook, so that'd be pretty awkward at the Thanksgiving table.
So Chad, I saw you're into that new anal destruction stuff.
Yeah. Also, have you ever scrolled
when
through?
When it's done, it looks like a damn bottle rocket went off in an ant bed.
Have you ever scrolled, like, just in general for all of us, a funny conversation? Have you ever actually took time to scroll through the comments? Like,
no.
Who the fuck comments on porn?
Exactly.
But scroll through and read them. They're fucking hilarious.
No, my question is...
Allegedly. I've never seen them, but I'm guessing.
My question is, I've never actually watched a porno all the way to the end. What happens at the end? Do they cuddle or something?
Yeah.
Normally, she just walks the fuck off, She
right.
just...
I didn't even know they had comments.
Yeah, there's a comment section on all of them, allegedly, I've heard.
You're going to go look now, aren't you? Shit,
I'm totally going to
Because
go
every
look.
now and then, it just keeps filming the chick, and it just watches her walk off with that squishy shit still on her ass and everything. And it's just funny as hell.
No, you got to check the comments because now that I think about it, seeing the comments has to be hilarious because you ever see some of the funny comments on like Amazon, like the most innocuous item on Amazon will have the most fucked up comments attached to it. I got to watch some porn comments now.
Yeah,
you'll
look
see,
at it.
I've heard that you can see it, and you'll see like people in there like commenting to each other, like, "Oh, I knew you'd like this video," blah blah blah, and they're like having conversations about.
Hey, they're porno pals. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Like I said, everybody dunks that Oreo in a different fashion.
They're like porno Eskimo
it's
brothers.
probably teenagers watching it beside each other and texting each other that crap.
Don't realize it's showing up in the comments and their Twitter feeds.
So, you guys got any other questions?
I think she covered all the bases.
I think
we covered it. Miss Camille, is there anything you'd like to add that we didn't get to?
I'd just like to add that I want to say that for myself and for my work life, we just want men to take a little bit more time to pay attention to their dental hygiene.
Dental hygiene.
Yes.
So they shouldn't.
It's much more important than it can really. It's kind of one of those things where if a woman has an odor, it would run the entire time for you. Is when men have bad breath, it runs the entire hour that we're spending together.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. So that is Miss Camille's message to the world, guys. Brush your fucking teeth, floss, use Listerine, yeah, and even then after that, chew a piece of gum just to be super sure. That's that.
Please, and I offer all of that when you come in as well. Mints, etc. Feel free to avail yourself of anything that's already offered to you.
Nice. Actually,
but if you have any other questions or anything else you ever want to talk to me about, feel free to let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer or go into anything you'd like me to.
Absolutely. I definitely appreciate that. Is it cool if I share your website on Twitter?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to give her a follow on Twitter as well.
There you go.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Miss Camille, we appreciate you calling in. Be safe on the remainder of your journey. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hey, we'll be in touch. You be safe and take care. Thanks for calling again.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thanks, you too.